Greetings, I am Lies.
And I am Scandal.
And let's play a game together. Let's not have done that together. Let's regret our choices together.
Except for the fact that it didn't really seem like we had much of a choice at all. Again, all three of those options that we were given, even as players, was so directly aggressive only in one direction. So this is even where I would say, like, the Arcana would have done better than this, because at least you could say a yes or a no, even if it was all just about, this option is all in about, you broke my leg, and this option is all in about, what are you doing here, or whatever, basically opposite you think that should be.
I was gonna say, yeah, the dichotomy didn't exist there. Like the, here's aggressive, here's something else, here's middly. It was three options that were all the same aggressive thing.
About the same direction.
They were all the same direction of, I am accusing you of basically being specifically mean or inappropriate
sabotaging,
to me. Yeah, you're either sabotaging me, you're either just jealous of me, or like,
you're still sabotaging me, but more aggressively.
It's just, anyway.
This is super weird.
So that was a little bit wild. But again, I wish that piece of story had been set up. That would have been great. That would have been far more interesting if when your teammates had showed up, that had been a thing they had foreshadowed. Yeah. And there was any connection to what was going on outside in the outside world.
Yeah, this is bizarre.
I shouldn't have lashed out at him. That was an unfair thing to do.
We don't even know where you are emotionally. Honestly, it also came out of nowhere for us as players. That's kind of why I was like, wait, what? Where did this even come from?
And that kind of bothered me because it was like in the hallway, we got to choose a variety of ways to react to him. Yeah. And going, I guess we could, we'll decide to shake his hand. We'll decide to be a little more amenable, trying to direct our character and our character experience. And then we get in here and it sounds like we haven't directed our character experience at all. And then I'm betting that if you choose any of those three options, you go through a different conversation with him and then land at the same thing. Oh, yeah. Of I shouldn't have lashed out at him. I'm betting that's the end of the flow chart and that all of them are, I'll just attack you for, 5 frames and then you'll leave.
Shockingly, these choices all seem pretty limited. But then again, the Genius games in general, I'm going to tell you guys, based off of what I've seen, they're all incredibly short loops. And more or less, your choices literally do not matter. The store, as far as we can tell, the Play Store, for how they like describing their games, is lying to you. You really only get to choose or affect your story by the very end. And that's only based off of literally just playing the one, but they all seem to basically repeat that similar behavior.
Or it's a loosely interpreted experience of going, your choices matter, because you do get a different immediate dialogue response from different choices.
Right.
And you don't get that other dialogue response, that one right there, if you choose a different choice.
Yeah, and for me, that feels misleading.
That feels like not enough, yeah.
Yeah, that feels like deliberately being a little bit obtuse and going, no, but I didn't say it would change the story. I just said it would, change some of the flavor text.
But that was an unfair thing to do. There's a knock on the door.
It's Louisa.
Someone's going to knock.
Or Miki.
Before they come in. It's got to be Miki.
Yep.
It's Miki. Hey, mister. She doesn't have that usual smirk on her face. That's not I've never interpreted her little smile as a smirk. I thought she just was smiling pleasantly.
Smirks to me are usually
condescending, judgmental,
a little bit more aggressive, at least in one way or another. Smirk.
I'm a little haughty, better than you.
What? What the fuck?
I don't know what that's supposed to indicate here. She doesn't have that usual smirk on her face, which means she's upset. Let me guess.
Rena.
You were listening to us and you're judging me because you also think I shouldn't have done that. Does every nurse eavesdrop on their patients? We did not police this visitor. We did not interact with this visitor. We didn't acknowledge this visitor was here or help him find your room or anything like that. And we didn't interact when you were in the hallway hiding from the visitor at your room, clearly indicating a level of distress. We're just watching from a distance that as soon as he goes into your room, I'll come and eavesdrop? Okay, so there are so many nurses that I have ever known that are very protective and supportive of their patients. Like, they don't know what that patient's outside life is any more than the patient will share. But it's like, while you're here, you're my patient, okay? And while nurses can be distracted, they can be tired, they can be overwhelmed, sometimes they can be impatient or snap at you, they are going to go to bat for you, the ones that I have met, as far as, like, support is concerned. They might be like, take your medication, I don't have patience for you. But if you go, I am afraid of that person at my door, they're like, I will strong arm them out the door for you, thank you. Like, if that person doesn't have legal right to visit you and you are demonstrating fear, again, especially with a child, they can be like, should we call a social worker? Do you need emotional support? Do you need a counselor? If Miki, as a trained adult nurse, saw you cowering behind a piece of equipment, hiding from someone at your room door, that'd be an appropriate time to engage, in my opinion.
Like, they really, to me, this honestly just reads, though, as also they don't know how to get these nurses involved, so that they feel like basically relatable love interests or something you would be interested in. I don't fucking get this. This feels, on a level, it feels kind of gross. Because and again, I don't want to say you can't have this, but then I'm just like, then just do a fucking nurse fetish story. But it bugs me because I'm like, the amount of drama they're trying to inject into this and then go, oh, so sexy times, bugs me.
Yeah.
Like, it's not working.
So this is not my good friend Scandal's flavor of game.
Hey, shockingly.
But we did try to deliberately choose a game that was like on the end of a spectrum because we wanted kind of what we would interpret as the extreme version of dating. We went, what's the most ridiculous one we could find?
Yay!
And while there were vampires, zombies, ghosts, robots, billionaire girlfriends, my girlfriend from the future, etc., time traveling girlfriend,
right.
We just thought nurse sounded traditionally tropey and landed in that, common fetish area.
Right.
Like your sexy nurse costume is standard in all your costume shops, right?
Yeah,
like
much.
that is one of your standard hot costumes. So we figured that's a very popular fetish, therefore an accessible thing and something that will have a lot of obvious tropes.
Yeah.
That's what we were expecting. So far, we're not sure. Anyway, she stopped the music when she came in. It's fine.
It's okay.
You were listening to us? Guilty, Your Honor. I was just supposed to bring you some meds, and I walked up to the door and heard people talking, so I didn't come in.
Is that defensive? Or is that just so that I was just supposed to bring you some meds?
I think
and I ended up being stuck at the door. Well, it either sounds defensive or accusatory of being like, you were having this stupid fucking conversation and basically ruining my day and wouldn't basically stop arguing with this person.
I was just supposed to bring you some meds, and then you were suddenly having this aggressive conversation. Then I hear shouting out, through the door. And instead of coming in because of shouting, I have to stop and listen to assess the situation and see what's going on.
I don't.
For all I know, you guys could have been having rough sex, and you can't just walk in on that.
Oh.
Sorry, I just had to put something
it happens
in there.
Too.
I had to put something dumb in there. I am ready.
People have been caught having sex in hospitals. It's fine. It occurs. I'm not saying that it's okay for the nurses or that the nurses sometimes aren't involved.
Oh God. That I have
or
no
the doctors,
of.
Which I know about. It's a part of that potentially, like, number one, not safe for work stuff, which is literally going, this is literally not safe because exposure to, fluids or whatever else, and you're in literally a clean room, you shouldn't be doing this. There's lots of protocol behavior stuff.
Sometimes people get involved with their coworkers at work. I have been in one job where coworkers were fired for having sex at work, and it was really weird for me.
I remember hearing about it once or twice, like on other shifts, but it never happened in any shift I was ever on.
And that's just so weird to me. I'm like, really? You guys couldn't wait to leave work? But maybe I'm just not that motivated. I just have really different priorities, I think.
Well, it's also just kind of like, you're at work, you're covered in grease. Like, that was where I heard about it. It happened at McDonald's.
You're disgusting.
Ew. Yeah, but it's a late night and I'm bored and there's nobody through the drive-thru. So what we did is we went into the manager's office where there is no camera.
Oh my God. That sounds terrible and amazing. All right. Well, there we go. She enters the room. Oh, she did this from the door. She just shoved that door open and was like, bitch. Hi, bitch.
And you're like,
whoa. I standing there, and then she enters the room carrying a tray of pills.
Honestly, I'm going to be so excited if at the end of this we can just pick no one.
That would be amazing.
We're going to do it again and make everybody angry, and I'm going to be like, yes!
I don't know.
You and your love interest.
If we do pick someone, though, I'm like, I want our parents to react to us dating an adult nurse.
Yeah, it would be interesting.
I really think it would be appropriate to be like, all right, we're going to choose Louisa, and we're going to bring a 30-year-old woman home to our parents and be like, Mom, we're in love.
It's going to happen.
And their parents would be like, whoo. And you can't say anything, Mom, because you're 20 years younger than Dad, so it's perfect. We're going to my room now. Bye!
Bye!
And they're like, Again, fictional context, fictional stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But we're just going, this would be funny, or ironic, or a little bit like dark humor kind of thing. Of going, and now we finally brought your parents into the very end of the game, in the 11th hour kind of thing. And what they're going to be exposed to is my son, who is a minor and a high schooler, is marrying an adult professional career woman who is a sex worker, and all of whatever I feel about all of those things, I have to process right now while he runs happily into the sunset.
Ha! Which they did in a lot of comedies, and it was always like, oh my fucking, it's supposed to be preposterous.
And the parents go, ha! And they run off and live happily ever after, and there it is. So yeah, and especially, it is usually supposed to be a mockery of the uninvolved parents.
Oh yeah.
And then your parents is like, I'm doing such a good job as I'm 1920 suburban dad who never sees my child except to go, oh, good son, and pat you on the head once a day. And then you do something outlandish, and I go, where did I go wrong?
Oh no, but we taught them so well. And
but
you're
he
like,
always looked like such a good boy when I saw him.
Oh my god.
All right. Was I really that bad to him? I mean, I heard your entire dating history while you guys bitched off at each other, and by that, I mean while you bitched off at him and he was super polite. And honestly, he sounds super cute and very nice, and I'm not surprised you fell for him, but I am really surprised that you just bit his fucking head off while he just tried to be, treat you with dignity and respect the entire time. I didn't really think you were like that, mister.
Also, like, are they trying to basically teach more or less, like, basic empathy? Is this what the attempt is? Like this is what it's going for? This is what the attempt is?
I don't know. Are we trying to infuse some empathy, or are we trying to make it so, again, Miki is a lesser version of Louisa and directing what we should be doing and knows better than us and trying to tell us where we should put our energy and how we should behave?
You still know what bugs me? They really did. They really, like, you could have come up with basically somebody who could have been more or less, and I don't know how to say this, so I apologize, but I'm like, to me, when I keep thinking about Rena, I'm going, you literally have another school kid that's basically your age.
Yes.
And what they do is they come up with basically a chronic waifu disease issue where she seems incredibly young and very much in that soft, squishy, I don't know what I'm doing, everything sucks kind of thing. And I'm like, you could have come up with somebody who was sick, who has a mystery disease, but also basically has more determination or more a part of her. I'm like,
is more aware,
the
more
infantilization of somebody who's closer towards potentially your age bugs me.
Okay.
Like the going that girls, when they are around your age, just aren't mature enough. Like, it really does seem like they're like, because we have to do a teenager, and what we really want is you to focus on the nurses, because that's a part of the fetish thing. And going, we have this, younger man with this older woman kind of thing. That is actually the focus. And Rena is just sort of tacked on there as being like, yeah, because girls who are closer towards my age are ridiculous, and they're just too young, and they're not very mature, and they have no interest in whatever else. Like, what they need
is to be protected and cared for. So I have to decide whether I want someone to take care of me or whether I want to take care of someone, and those are the only options so far in this game.
Yeah, there's not a lot of, like, equivalency here, or even relatable experience. I don't know, it just bugs me.
Was I really that bad to him? Miki seems surprised that I asked for her opinion. Even though she came in with her opinion in my face, brandished like her square clipboard. That she somehow also has a tray of meds hidden behind.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
To be honest, you did sound like a prick. I love that she just said it! That is my favorite line so far in this whole game.
I'm also just like, but none of it makes sense.
It doesn't. That doesn't sound like what she's normally said at all.
No.
She's suddenly just really direct with us. And I guess she's been the sort of sassy, bitchy before a little bit kind of archetype. Just at the beginning of, I'm a little more standoffish, I seem a little more like a bitch.
I wonder, like maybe that is the reason that most people did pick Miki, though, is because they're like, well, this is the only option that we really actually want you to go for is Miki, because, you want to, number one, date a nurse, because this is a sexy nurse game, and you want to date someone, I guess, who's closer towards your age, who's going to call you out on stuff, who's actually going to be more direct or more involved, which would mostly be Miki, because Louisa mostly barrels over you, and Rena is mostly passive. Like, I don't even know.
Like I said,
this language just seemed weird, though.
It's a little wild. I'm not sure I agree.
This arc makes no sense to me.
All of that assessment, but I'm kind of confused continually in this game going, I'm not sure who we're supposed to be and what the point of these activities are. And I'm definitely not, like, endearing myself or connecting to these, women/love interests in a way that is romantic or sexual or in any way. Like, one, for me, I don't know them well enough, but two, they're not seeming like they're consistent characters.
Nope.
So even in my real life, being a demisexual, in fiction, I can sometimes attach to people really hard in a sort of meta-passionate way, if you will, to someone else's interest in someone. So when I say that there has to be, like, chemistry there for things, if the characters are feeling it, I can feel it.
Right.
For the most part, like, as long as it's relatable in some way. And so even people that write incredibly, short fiction with a really hard-hitting emotional or sexual core, if you will. I can access a lot of that
really
because
involved.
the characters are both involved, so I can access their emotions. In this case, I have no connection to what either of them are feeling for each other, and I'm not feeling any tension or interest between them. In the same way that I haven't really like with any of the other characters, or like sort of with Nerd and Julian, like there's some cute moments in the Arcana here and there where they kind of connect, but there's a lot of Nerd going, I'm doing my professional job. And it's very different.
Right. Well, I was going to say, I feel also, though, like what happens there for the Arcana is that it's using very well-known tropes in order to get that across. You haven't actually built up to it. It's kind of like the thing with Lily and Luke. We're really familiar with the shorthand of basically, this is the cute romantic gesture, and everybody goes, because we've been trained so hard, and that it is clever and it's funny, or that it is still interesting, but there's no background to back it up.
I was going to say, for me, shorthand works very, very poorly unless you've established a groundwork. I was going to say, you can't shorthand, in the same way that we bitched off in Shiver about going, they're using close personal inside jokes and like behaviors like an old married couple. And going, we have no connection to when they built or established those. Now, I have one role-playing character, and he is hilarious, and he can build a meme in like 3 sentences apart that he can then use again later, and everyone laughs their asses off, and it's great. And my friend has died laughing several times because he's quite funny.
Yes.
I would say, but it's one of those things where there is that established piece of picking up this narrative, using this narrative, and then when you throw it in later, even if it's weeks or months later, you know exactly where it came from or how they made that connection.
Right.
You have to see people building those, or even if it's like, even if it is just 2 sentences and then they use that meme very familiarly in front of all their friends, and like, wow, you guys are suddenly really close. It's like, no, this meme started like 10 minutes ago and we were just on board.
Yes.
And so you just have to build that connection, I guess. Anyway, to be honest, you did sound like a prick.
Okay, so I think what kills me mostly about these stories is that all of them like to pretend you can choose. They really do. And I really mean like to pretend that you can choose. Because what they're trying to do is trying to get you to be invested in the thing that they have written and try not to write too much of a character, but it literally doesn't fucking work if you don't have a character. Which is why we've spent a lot of time trying to figure out what the crap the writers actually were writing for or intending to write towards.
Who is your character?
Yeah,
not
because
going,
you can't write an empty story with a character that everything is supposed to revolve around if you've got no character. You can't do it. It's literally not possible.
Right, everything can't revolve around your character if there's no character.
Anyway,
and I feel that really strongly, honestly, and I'm like, you can't make everything a blank slate. You eventually have to choose something. And if you're gonna let people, you can't just count on, in my opinion, that people will just choose the interesting option if there's supposed to be a character behind the screen. Like if there's supposed to be a character in front of Miki, then that's a person, not just interesting options.
Right. Well, and that's also the issue that I've had with a lot of games where people are like, oh my god, all these games, even when you get into really big expensive games, like $60 games, where they're like, this allows you to choose so much. But the thing is that you have to realize there's been hundreds and hundreds of hours pumped into giving you so many different options. But that's the thing. Those are still limited options within the range that the people who wrote the story could write or think of.
And they allowed for different character options. And a lot of times when those dialogue boxes appear on screen, you know you're building your character and you go, okay, did I come from the waste? Did I have a good, healthy family? Or am I just a loner who hates everyone? Like, what is this? And then you know the rest of the story is going to build on that piece of information. And so you don't mind that there's only 3 choices. You just go, which one looks interesting as you get to know yourself.
Right, exactly.
And then they build character profiles from those primary offshoots, and you follow a completely different, again, like flowchart for the rest of the game.
But it is still a thing of that it's still limited, and it's not actually as many broad options as you think it is.
I sigh. I know. Wait, do you think I'm right? Oh my god.
Oh wow.
Not to intrude on your personal affairs or whatever.
Except let me intrude.
Ask away. Not to be racist or anything, but I don't really like bagels.
What?
That's not racist. I know. I said I wasn't racist. Oh. Sorry, that's fine.
I know, sorry. I was like, maybe just don't like bagels.
Like it was one of those bait and switch ones. It was just very funny.
Oh yeah, they're fun.
All right. Ask away. Were you really angry at him? What do you mean? Sometimes when I am mad about something, I take a second to analyze why I'm feeling that way. You get what I'm saying?
We are trying to suddenly encourage the character to fucking do some introspection.
To do introspection.
What the shit?
Maybe you're not really that mad at him. Maybe you're just hurt and unhappy about being stuck here. Are we doing this?
Why are we doing therapy?
Oh my god, she's doing therapy. And most of the time, I realize I'm angry, not because of that something that's in front of me, like him, but because of another thing. You know, like the fact that you're trapped in a hospital, you feel alone, your parents haven't engaged with you at all, you have no one visiting you that you actually want to see you, you don't seem to have any friends outside of this at all, you seem to be really isolated in your life, and also your mobility is incredibly limited, and you're used to being really able-bodied, and just, that kid was actually being really nice.
So much
and you were an asshole.
Oh my god.
Nurses do that, though. Nurses definitely do
No. I am annoyed in the context of the game. Okay. I recognize that. I know
she's doing the women's work. That's what you're, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm irritated. It's fine.
So what you're saying is...
we'll have to find out in the next one! Yay! So thank you very much, guys, then, for joining us. If you like what we do, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And please also feel free to go check out our Ko-Fi or our Patreon. We got some links in the description down below.
Yep.
Also, please feel free to share our videos if you're having a good time with us or just want to help sort us out, you know, from the algorithm. It would be very much appreciated.
Yep.
Other than that, I have been Scandal.
And I have been Lies.
And it was great playing with you.
Bye!